Okay. Welcome, foundation. So those of you who know me know I am a full coverage kind of girl. I figure, why wear makeup if you just want to see my skin? I don't want to see my skin. I don't think anyone else wants to see my skin. So this is going to be the full glam, full beat, full face makeup routine with some like heavy duty foundations. Not heavy, like they don't feel heavy on my skin, but like coverage wise, super heavy duty. So I'm actually going to use a different technique and kind of combine two different super heavy duty full glam foundations. So we got the Huda Beauty Faux Filter foundation, and then we've got the Urban Decay All Nighter. So these are both super full glam, full face foundations. I really love this one. I know this one has like some bad rap. People say that it oxidizes really badly, but I think it's amazing. Survived my entire trip to Hawaii with high humidity and like hiking around. This looked awesome. And then this guy, it is full coverage, but I don't particularly love this all over my face. So what I'm going to do is a technique that I learned from watching Wayne Goss. It's called the 80-20 technique, where it's like you get 80% of the results using like 20% of the effort or something. I mean, we're going to put in 100% of the effort, but I did think some of the technique that he talked about was really interesting. So he says use a darker covered foundation, slightly darker than your skin tone foundation, which this, in the Huda Beauty, I have Toffee, which is 420G. I have yet to find my actual right color of this. They tested me again in Sephora. I think I'm Baklava, which is in the 300s, so this is quite dark for me. This is what I get when I try to like get on the bandwagon and buy makeup online without testing it in store. So I'm going to take just like one pump of this guy, especially because it is so full coverage, you don't really need that much. Anyways, so the technique for this is you use a darker color where you kind of have the most redness and you want the most coverage. So I'm just going to dot this on my cheeks where I tend to actually have the most redness. Just a little bit. We don't want to go overboard because this color is quite a bit darker than my skin tone. And then I'm just going to dot it on my nose a little bit and then kind of start a little contouring using this color by going on the perimeter of my face with this darker color. Okay, so now I've got that all around, all over the face. I'm next going to go in with the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. I'm going to take maybe a pump and a half of this one and kind of dot that in the rest of my face. I think this is actually a really great match for me. Like I said, people have trouble saying that this guy oxidizes on them and changes colors, but I think it's not really so much that it oxidizes and changes colors. I think it just dries down, and it just dries down a little bit darker than how it comes out, which I don't really think I have a problem with. Like I went and got color match for this one. I tested it in the store. They swatched a couple of them. I walked around, looked at some other stuff, and then came back and was like, okay, this is the one that's color matched. So I'm number 7. I didn't say that before. Yeah, 7.0 is the color for the Urban Decay. Alright, so now that I got my foundation on, I'm going to take a damp beauty blender. Oh, I just got makeup all over that. And I'm going to start just working this into the skin. I like using both a beauty blender and a brush for foundation, although with these more heavy-duty full coverage foundations, I feel like beauty blenders tend to work a little bit better, just because with a brush, sometimes these really heavy ones can get a little bit streaky. The more watery foundations or something, they work well with a brush because then you don't lose coverage. With like a medium coverage foundation, you still keep all that coverage that you have. And yeah. But with these, I think it really works well, and especially with a full coverage, full face. I like really using the sponge and like pressing it into the skin. I mean, that's why they call it beating the face, right? Because you're like literally beating the face. It's like, you will look good. I will make you look good. So I think that actually looks pretty good. That's great coverage. Blended on my ear, blended it down my neck. I got some on my shirt. I don't feel like it looks too terribly dark right now. It actually looks, I think it looks good with just a little bit of the darker foundation in the center of the face. Really helped cover up everything that you maybe didn't want to see. Yeah, looks great. All right, so now that we've put the foundation on, I'm gonna take my favorite cocktail of concealers and just start concealing the face. So I'm gonna start with one that's really close to my skin color. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in the color Tan Sand. I really don't need much of this because this is such full coverage foundation. So I'm just gonna take a tiny bit right where there's the most dark circles, right kind of in the inner corner of the eye and down. Literally don't need very much because the foundation's so full you don't really see it. Then I'm going to take this medium shade, this is light medium, and just start warming up the face and highlighting. The bridge of my nose, and my forehead, on the chin. And then, since it's full glam, full beat, I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to try to cut out under where my contour would be. So the contour usually goes here. I'm just going to cut a little bit underneath. Just to really highlight that face. Give it a little something, something, a little extra dimension, extra cut when I go to the contouring. And then I'm going to take the lightest shade. This is Light Sand, which is way too light on its own, but I love how bright this makes the under eyes look. And then I'm just going to do just a tiny bit in the center of my forehead, keeping it really low, just right here on the temple, where the others I kind of pulled up a little bit higher. So there we have it. Now I'm going to take that same Beauty Blender and blend it in. And whenever I'm blending in my concealer, I always wait to blend in my under eyes till the very, very last minute because I feel like letting it dry down a little bit gives it a little extra coverage, which we all know we want to cover up those under eye bags. No one needs to know that I got 4 hours of sleep, right? I was working on homework. And by working on homework, we mean I was watching TV because that counts as homework, right? It is when you're in grad school for TV. And I'm taking this onto the eye. Kind of will work as like a double duty eyeshadow primer and concealer. And being Somali, I do have hyperpigmentation on the eyes, which can get pretty bad, especially when I don't get enough sleep, which is always. So really just covering up any of that darkness we see under the eyes. All right, and the base is done. We'll see you at the next step.